Hi, I'm Jen, or Jennifer, some of my friends call me, and I'm competing in Hyrox events, and I really wasn't sure what I got myself into when I signed up for my first race. I didn't really exactly feel ready, but I wanted a challenge, and my postmenopausal self had no fucks left to give, so I just decided, whatever, I'll have a go, and had great fun. And now I'm hooked on Hyrox, which has been a really great part of my life for the last 9 to 10 months. So this video is my intro video, and really to give you a little bit of information about myself and why I train and why I do this. So yeah, the first thing I wanted to talk about is why I train and how Hyrox really fits into my personal goals. I want to be active and be able to do things for myself well into the last decade of my life. As a woman who had children later in life, I was 37 and 39 when my two daughters were born. I want to be around for my girls as they start their independent lives and perhaps start families. You know, I want to be able to do fun things with them and any grandkids that I might have. And I wanted a challenge. I want to see what I'm capable of. I want to see if I can get faster, fitter, stronger. And I want to compete, and I want to play, and I want to have a go. I'm not interested in sitting on the sidelines of my own life and believing the idea just because I'm 55 and middle-aged that means anything. It doesn't. It doesn't mean a thing. And now's the right time. Anytime is the right time to just have a go at something that intrigues you and excites you. So I did it. And I also want to prevent cognitive decline for myself. Because my mom has dementia, and it's been horrible to watch her disease progress and to see how much it's taken from her and taken from us in terms of time with her and her memories and her personality and who she used to be. So I am really focused on my health and fitness, primarily for my longevity, and also because I can see what the impact of not focusing on those things now might mean for me in the future. And I'm not interested in that at all. So currently what I'm training for is Hyrox in Auckland in 2026. So I competed in Hyrox at the Hyrox Auckland event in January of this year, January 2025, with a good friend of mine. We entered the open doubles division. We had a blast. We did it with 6 weeks of training, and we were doing some workouts beforehand, CrossFit type workouts and some running. But we chucked something into ChatGPT and said, we have 6 weeks, give us a schedule. And we just followed that as an outline. So after having a great time with her and placing third in our age group, I then decided to have a go on my own in terms of training and trying to look at if I could compete in the pro division. And the pro division is heavier weights for some of the stations. And it is also the only way that you can qualify for Worlds. You have to compete in the pro division if you're under 60 years old. So I made that a goal that I wanted to try to see, could I qualify for Worlds? Is it possible? You know, there aren't a lot of women in my age group at Hyrox, and I'd like to see more women out there, more older women. So I signed up for Hyrox Perth, which was in September 2025, September of this year, 2025. And I managed to win my age group with a penalty, more on that later, which means I now have a spot to compete in the World Hyrox event in Stockholm, Sweden in June of 2026. So I'm off to Stockholm in June. And before that, I am going to race again in Auckland at the end of January. And I'm now starting my 10 weeks building up to that race. And I'll be posting a lot about my build up to that race in the weeks to come, and just using that as a springboard for all the interesting things that I find interesting about Hyrox that I want to share with other women or anyone who might be watching this channel. I also will be talking about what my training looks like, the good, the bad, the ugly. Look, I have good days and I have bad days, and I need rest and recovery. Days, certainly probably more than I did when I was younger. Sometimes I take naps. Sometimes I have to take days off, and training isn't always fun in the moment. Sometimes it's really hard. but I do look forward to it because I feel so good when I'm done. And so I'm going to share as much of that as I can with people who are interested on the channel. And yeah, I'll be sharing all the things about all the things. And hopefully it will be useful to some of you. The other thing that I hope to really address and talk about on the channel and post some videos on is nutrition and how important food is to, that you're eating and that you're fueling yourself properly for all that you do in your life, whether it's, it's training and thinking and looking after your home and your family and your kids and all the things. Over the last 8 months, I've changed up my nutrition. I would say, I don't know if I'd say dramatically, but it actually probably has been quite a significant change. I wasn't eating nearly enough protein and I was always working out fasted, which is horrible. So I really have shifted my way I think about food, I think about it as a way to fuel my life and my activities. And it's such a mind shift for a Gen Xer who we all grew up thinking, skinny was the way to be, and the less you ate and the more virtuous you were if you were skinny and thin and all the bullshit we got fed. And I'm really not interested in that anymore. What I want is good food and good information about food that I can be eating that helps with my energy levels, helps with my training, and helps me recover and do all the things I want to do. So I will share some nutritional information, meals I eat, tips and tricks, things I do to help me track what I eat and what I focus on and, what to worry about. And I still have lots of treats and eat lots of things that I like, but I'll be sharing probably a lot of reminders about the fact that, protein is really, really important and not working out fasted. And carbs are not the enemy. You need to eat carbs and you just need to eat them at the right time, which I'm still learning. I'm still working on that and how that works for me. So, like my body composition has changed over the last 8 months, which has been a huge plus and fun to see. But changing up my diet wasn't about that. It was about how could I eat like an athlete? How could I get the best out of my performance and out of my training if I focused on nutrition in a different way? So I'll be talking a little bit about that on some of my videos. And importantly, of course, I'll be talking about Hyrox training and race tips, as well as tech and gear that I use. I've learned heaps over the last 8 months, 11 months, I guess I've been doing Hyrox, and, I'll share information about races, stations, techniques, race prep, what you should think about if you're racing a double, what you might think about if you're racing on your own, how those races are actually quite different, and anything I can think of that I think you might like to know. And of course, any comments that are posted, I'll try to address those as well. And yeah, so finally, I said I would live in New Zealand, or I've done races in New Zealand and Australia. You may have picked up that my accent is from the US. So I've lived in New Zealand for 20 years and my husband's a Kiwi and I moved here and we've raised our family here. But I'm from the US. Originally, I lived in the Pacific Northwest on the west coast of the US. But yeah, home now is New Zealand. And so most of the races I've been doing, well, the 2 races I've done have been in Australia and New Zealand. And again, I'll do the Auckland race and then Stockholm. So yeah, this is my intro video on who I am and what I'm about. It doesn't matter what age you are. It's not too late to start something new, to come up with a challenge, to focus on yourself and really, take the time to focus on your own health and nutrition and well-being. You're totally worth it. I mean, if you're not looking after yourself, you can't look after all the other people that you love in your life. And I think that's really important. So if you want to follow my journey, you can subscribe, learn some new things about training, nutrition, and Hyrox, my personal successes and failures, and just day-to-day training for Hyrox and just midlife. I also will be, the best of my ability, sharing links and information to experts and professionals that I rely on to kind of build my whole knowledge of training and eating and supplements and nutritional things that I take that you can then have a look at and decide if that might be right for you. I'm not an expert in those things, but I certainly have taken the time to read a lot of information. And I think I have a coach, which has been very helpful for me. I like someone just to tell me what to do and I do it. And so I don't think she'll mind too much if I share some of my workouts. And you may want to have a go at some of those workouts. You know, and Hyrox might not be your jam, and that's totally cool. I still think that hopefully I can provide a fair amount of information to women who are midlife about strength training, zone 2, aerobic capacity, nutrition, why it's so important to focus on yourself, your nutrition and your health, and being fit now so that you can look after yourself in the future. All those things are important. So it doesn't really matter where you're starting. If you're starting new to fitness, if you're beginning again, or if you're totally into Hyrox, hopefully I'll have something that will interest you in all those areas. So follow along. See ya.